In this text, King Zedekiah raises the same question. Is there a word from the Lord? Now, history tells us that Zedekiah had not been the kind of king that had followed in the way of the Lord. He had rejected the word of the Lord and the judgments that had come with it. God had been sending the word tirelessly and faithfully through the prophets that Jerusalem was going to fall to the Babylonian army, that God was going to use Babylon as the instrument of divine discipline. Are y'all praying with me? The historians tell us that Zedekiah got happy, you all, around 588 BC. Because it was during the summer of that year when the Babylonian army had withdrawn from Jerusalem in order to go fight with the Egyptians, because the Egyptians had invaded southern Palestine under the leadership of a pharaoh by the name of Hophra. It was Zedekiah's hope, you all, that the Babylonians would be defeated by the Egyptians and the prophecy of discipline would not come true. But it was not long before Jeremiah spoke again. The same unchanging word from the Lord. The Babylonians would return and that Jerusalem would fall. Are y'all praying with me? Zedekiah had been hoping and wishing that the prophecy would not come true. He was praying that the Egyptians would destroy the Babylonians, but he showed up again with the same word that the Babylonians would destroy Jerusalem. So in fear, watch this now, Zedekiah now wants to have a meeting with Jeremiah, who has been put in prison, you all, by a man by the name of Imajah in the dungeon of a home of a fellow by the name of Jonathan on the charge that he was a defector. Now, Jeremiah, in fact, you all, had come and told some of the people of Israel to defect over to the side of the Babylonians because the Babylonians were coming to destroy them. Jeremiah says to them that the Babylonians are going to destroy you. If you're going to save your life, then perhaps you need to switch over to the side of the Babylonians. When they got word of that, they incarcerated Jeremiah and said that he was a defector and a traitor. So they put him in jail, and it was not long before Zedekiah, fearing that the prophecy was getting ready to come true, calls for Jeremiah to come out of the dungeon, and he calls him in his secret chamber because now he's ready to listen. Don't miss what I said now. He has been locked up. Zedekiah sees signs that the prophecy is about to come true, and all of a sudden he says, bring me Jeremiah because I need to have a conversation with Jeremiah. Now watch this. Zedekiah did not seek a word when things were going well. He did not pay attention when everything was right. He could care less about talking to Jeremiah when he was standing on the top. But with trouble looming, now he's got an ear to hear. So God lets things go down here long enough until he finally gets the king's attention. Now, some of y'all ain't getting ready to like this, but I'm going to say it anyway. God will let some stuff go down or fall low or get bad. I wish I had somebody until he gets your attention. God will call you one or two times while things are going well. But if you act like you're hard of hearing, if you act like you're slow and can't understand, God will let the bottom fall out just to get your attention. Is there anybody in here that's not ashamed to admit God had to let some stuff get real bad until he finally got your attention? But when I was teaching this past week, expository preaching in the West Africa Theological Seminary, I told my African brothers and sisters who were in that class, I said, listen, at the end of the day, when you get through looking at the biblical text in its proper historical context, when you look at it in terms of its literary context, when you look for it for its theological implications, at the end of the day, do not forget that people must leave there with some hope and some healing. Are y'all praying with me? When you preach the gospel, people have to have some hope and some healing. Now, the text suggests, you all, that sometimes God will let a thing get bad on you. I mean, God will let it get low as it can possibly get. God will let it get lower than you ever thought possible. But, can I give you the shout? Even though God let it go down, he let you live long enough to get a word so it wouldn't keep you down. I wish I had somebody. Is there anybody thankful that God let it take you down, but then he gave you a word so it would not keep you down? Listen, some of us have been in some situations that should have made you crazy, should have made you lose your mind, should have had you run around here cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Hello, somebody. It should have taken you out by now. But the good news is God gave you strength to live with it long enough to get the word. Is there anybody thankful that even when you were catching hell, God still let you get a word? Even when you were being hard-headed, God sent you a word. Even when you were stiff-necked, God sent you a word. Listen. It's all right through here if you don't want to say amen. But just look amen. There are 3 or 4 of us in here today whose life is in a mess. You got unanswered questions. You don't know what to do next. You don't know how things are going to turn out. You're not sure if you're going to make it. And all you want to know today is, Pastor Davis, is there a word from the Lord? Well, in this text, Jeremiah spoke 2 words, Reverend Fair, that ought to make you shout. I mean, it's right here in the text. You don't have to be trained theologically. You don't have to know anything at all about reading the text in the original Hebrew. If you can read it all, there's 2 words right here that ought to make you shout. Zedekiah asked the question, is there a word from the Lord? And Jeremiah came back and said, there is. Oh, Lord. Church folk don't know when to shout. Let me try it again. He asked the question. He said, is there a word from the Lord? And Jeremiah came right back and said, there is. Somebody wants to know, Davis, is there a word from the Lord? There is. I said, is there a word from the Lord? There is. You want to know if there's a word to lift you up? There is. Is there a word to work out your financial situation? There is. Is there a word to turn things around? There is. Is there a word to make your kids do right? There is. Is there a word to heal your body? There is. Is there a word to heal your mind? There is. Is there a word to heal your job situation? There is. Look at your neighbor and say, there is a word. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it feels like. You need to know that God still got a word.